always laughed at the saying, you must trust your gut, because I have never really been very able to. I can create a lot of stories in my head that are very consuming and very, how would I describe it? Just overbearing. And so I can believe anything. Like once I'm convinced of it, I'll believe it, and that just becomes the story, even though there's not necessarily any evidence. But
right.
So the saying, trust your gut, you should trust your gut, has always kind of been at odds with me, where I'm like, no, my gut feels like it leads me astray quite a lot, actually. I need to trust evidence. I need to trust patterns. I need to trust what I've seen happen in the past. But what I heard recently was, and this is where scientists are going to tear me to shreds if there's anybody listening, but your serotonin is produced in your stomach. Or there's something that happens with, what is that? And anyway, that made me laugh, where I was like, oh, I don't have enough serotonin. I know that. So how interesting that my gut is not actually being a reliable source for me.
No.
Right now. I actually knew that.
If you read Eat Dirt, you don't necessarily have to follow what it's all about. You can get the cookbook, but the serotonin buildup in your gut, which affects your mood and your energy and so many different things, you get gut health, your gut bacteria, which breaks down, scientifically there's more to it, but it breaks down the wall of your gut so that food that you eat, you're not able to process food that isn't necessarily good. A lot of hormones or pesticides or things like that, and they seep into your blood, and then it's such a direct connection, and I'm not doing it any justice, but that book was so great.
I will definitely read that. Yeah, I mean, my hormonal health, like I'm really interested in that stuff, because I know and I have experienced how much that has been affected by diet, and so I am really interested, like mood obviously being part of that whole kind of ecosystem that's happening inside you, biological system. I know that cycles and routines and everything have all been affected by that. I should definitely read it. Eat Dirt. Yeah. I will.
So I was telling Daniel, these medical doctors who take care of your health, they operate on you, and they when you go to like a pediatrician or somebody, they don't really talk to you about what kind of things you're eating or diet, how they take your blood pressure, they do this. But some of these newer doctors are looking at, if you eat a certain way for 4 or 5 days in a row, and then on the 5th or 6th day you have something that you haven't been having, he's like, there's no way I could say that it wasn't affecting my mood. I found myself down after eating too much, or I did eat too much grease, or didn't eat healthy.
Yeah.
And so that Dr. Gundry, who is Plant Paradox, those are the two I would recommend. He is a heart surgeon. So he is a guy he's like one of the best in the whole world. He's operating on you. He's saving you. He's clearing your arteries. He's bypassing. And he realized that instead of saving them on the table, I want to save them before they even get to the office. So he closed up his practice, started studying what you're putting into your body and how it affects your health in the future, and over. And now that's what he does, and he's incredible. You can listen to his podcast, you can read his book. So
I know. Thank you
in that. And still doing meditation, exercising, it all just coincides.
It's like a toolkit. That's the classic kind of phrase for it, isn't it? Is like sometimes, and as you and Daniel were talking about, it's not that like just eating great is going to make you perfect and everything well, but if you keep all of your supplies high enough, then when maybe the diet falls off a little bit, you've still got your meditation that you're doing. Still got
and then you can have a little bit of a cheat day where you're like,
but you kind of all your reserves are higher.
Yeah. Also, as we've gotten further along, the amount of food that you can get that is healthy, and the amount of diets, these gluten-free, we don't eat anything with like canola or corn starch or anything. You have what is that, cassava, which is like a root vegetable. You can get chips with that now, and certain cheeses that are vegan cheeses, cashew cheeses. I've been doing those. They're actually really good food too. Like,
good.
We made gluten-free cookies last night.
Oh, yum!
They're fucking great.
There you go. You guys can cook.
Yeah, in the past, in the past I've been like, oh, this diet, it just doesn't taste good, but I'm slowly, even pizza,
Yeah.
finding ways, cauliflower crust. I mean, but it all goes with a circle of things you can put in your toolbox, like you just said.
And I think you're right that, you know, like you said, the first couple of weeks things were going good, and then things fell off. And the most important thing is, you know, we all backslide, and that it's like, that doesn't mean you stop. Like, that doesn't mean you have to just give up now and that you failed. Is like knowing that you, in general, have spent a year now serving your body and like trying to make it the healthiest.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference.
A week or a couple of weeks or a month or whatever people might go through is just like, it's a little step back on a big journey forward. So keep going. Like, don't let that deter you.
Yeah.
You're not alone for that.
And in the past, my anxiety has come in waves. Like, I'll have it bad for a few years, and then all of a sudden it'll be good. I'll have years where I'm like, I get the confidence back, and then it'll come back in and be like, boom. Yeah. And I'm always thrown off. And I've said to Daniel, it's like I have short-term memory. I never remember how bad it was. So I'm always amazed at the grip. It's able to just, I'm like, I've been doing this for 20 years. How do I not have you beat yet?
Yeah.
But now I have different ways that I'm going about it, whether it's diet and stuff. So that way, I think it's something I'm always going to deal with.
Yeah.
And I've accepted that. This is a part of who I am. And as bad as it is sometimes, it also makes me the way I am. I think I'm able to understand how people feel and be more caring and compassionate when people are dealing with mental health stuff. And hopefully our whole world is going in that direction.
Yeah.
But now I have different ways, and I have my wife who, she never really dealt with anxiety or depression, but now she understands it from a spouse's point of view, which is something else we should talk about. Yeah. Those in the family, it's difficult for them to know how to help you because a lot of times.
Well, that was what I was just thinking, is given what we're going through right now, where there are some other people who are experiencing severe anxiety and panic and depression around what's happening in the world, maybe for the first time or one of the first times for them. It's like a time for me that I feel like I have to exercise all of the compassion and understanding that I've expected from people my whole life. So right. It's interesting that, yeah, like I think it can be a really draining thing for people. And unfortunately, it's not that it's not true or real, but it can be very self-involved. And that's just sort of it's hard to see past it when you're in it. But the people that have kind of showed up for you over the years, it's interesting. I've watched a few of those people really struggling right now, and it's very kind of validating and knowing like, okay, this is my time to like help you out. And do you need to really chat about something? And have you got some weird fear that seems irrational, but it's not really in the great scheme of things? Like whatever your thing that you might have drained from people before or asked from people, it's like a chance to give that back and to be patient and like understanding. Lots of people I know are going through family spats or relationship spats, or like people aren't feeling like the best versions of themselves. And I think about the times that I've been that. So like it's a good opportunity to exercise that patience and tolerance for other people's sort of experience.
Yeah, you have to be, Daniel and I was saying, you have to be kind and patient with your own mental health and not beat yourself up. And the way I was saying, I went to a Reiki or something, and she asked me, tell me what's going on with you. And I was like, well, you know, I'm just not able to get out of bed, and I've been anxious, and I feel like this tightness. Everything I said to her, she's like, part of it is just the way you're describing how you're feeling, the words you're using. Like, it's not that you can't, it's just that at this moment you're struggling too. Or, you know, so it's all about that, and you can really beat yourself up. It worries me about this time for anyone who's going through it, but if you're also someone who's susceptible to this kind of stuff, you know, the world, you can really beat yourself down. So if it means you have to get up and go on Instagram, and also be aware that social media also isn't going to help a lot of the time. Twitter can be very toxic. Looking at videos of cats, that's better. Or people falling down stairs and stuff on TikTok, you know. But figuring out what works best for you, but also being aware of what isn't always good. Like, I can't go on Twitter a lot when it becomes political and you see what's happening in all the world. So you got to kind of be aware of what isn't. There's a lot of people chit-chatting, saying nice things about iZombie. Someone said cauliflower crust has cheese in it, so I don't know. We have a bunch of questions. You want a few questions, and then I don't want to keep it too long. Let's see if anyone's asked. I how do you prevent relapsing?
Well,
Brittany, again, Brit's
there
fan.
there are so many. I mean, not an addiction specialist or anything, so I feel
Right.
like I'm very mindful about how I speak about all of these things. But I would say that in like my patterns of negative thinking or depression, just whenever I have really tried to keep everything out and not think about it, it just makes it 1,000 times worse. So just be sitting with it and like thinking about what those impulses, where are they coming from? What are you like? Look it in the eye, basically, and I would say that for me has always reduced my chances of falling back into bad patterns. What you are? I think that maybe you're more.
Mine has been such a cycle, a couple years on, a couple years off. In the past, it would come back and I would fight it. And I'd be like, oh, God. And I'd be like, oh, again. It would wear me out and it frustrates me. And I think accepting that this is a part of who I am. It's like allergies. It's like any physical ailment you would ever have. It's a mental ailment, and it's going to be good and it's going to be bad.
Yeah.
Don't fight it. Don't beat yourself up about it, like I said. So when it comes back a year ago, putting things in place,
Yeah.
and doing those when I feel good or I feel bad. Whatever your routine is that makes you good, don't stop doing that. Don't be like, oh, feel great, gonna stop exercising, gonna stop meditation.
But like you, short-term memory, isn't it? It's like when you feel great, you're just like, what was I ever upset about? This is
right. Short-term memory.
It really is. That's a real thing. And what I would say is when you've dealt with it long enough, even though it feels like, wait, did this come from? There is the seed of you that has understood you've survived it before and you will again. Right. And that can feel far away at times, but trusting time and trusting that like that this has healed before and you will work out how to balance these feelings again. And I agree. Like I remember going in to see a therapist and saying, it was years ago now, but I went in and was having a really bad episode and I just was sobbing and I said, I just need you to tell me that I'm not going to feel like, I need you to tell me that at your age, he was in his 60s, I'm not going to feel like this anymore. And fantastic. He was just like, I absolutely can't tell you that. And he was like, I've dealt with this my whole life. And the fact that you're seeking that concrete kind of result is half of the problem. And I'm here to tell you that you will keep dealing with it. But the way that I hated my brain and my mental health, and I remember I used to think about it like it was faulty or broken a lot. And he was like, just this great analogy of, it's like a really great car that you keep saying is broken, but what's happening is you're driving it with one foot on the accelerator and one foot on the brake, and it's smoking and it's exploding, and you just don't know how to handle the vehicle. And that was really helpful for me, where it stopped being this thing that was broken. It was just about me understanding it better and navigating it, and like knowing that there'd be times that maybe something needs to be tended to and fixed.
You're gonna hit bumpy road. Yeah,
but that it's not. It's not. There should never be an end goal of, and I will never feel like that again, because that's just
I've come to realize that's not the case. You might be lucky enough to not have it so intense for a certain amount of time, but it will always be there. So what you can do to prepare yourself for that when it does happen will make those episodes less.
Yeah. And I remember it was somebody else who said this, but they were talking about when they started thinking of the episodes as they came, with curiosity rather than with like, here we go again, but being like,
right,
where is this? That's interesting. I wonder where this is born from, and what have I, like a fascination. Like we're both very interested in the world. I'm sure a lot of people who are prone to these sorts of mental health issues have a deep fascination with like people and how people interact and where things come from and character and personality, and like looking at it with an interest rather than like a disdain is helpful as well.
Right. And then the most important thing, you are not alone.
Yes.
It is I am 45 years old. I've lived in Massachusetts, California, Vancouver. I've been in this industry for almost 20 years. I've met hundreds of thousands of people in my life,
Mm-hmm.
fans who you meet who can, and